1, 2, 3, 4. Moving like the fog on the Cumberland River, I was leaving on a Delta Queen. I wasn't ready to go, I'm never ready to go. 27 years and nothing but failures and promises that I couldn't keep. Oh Lord, I wasn't ready to go, I'm never ready to go. Let it ride easy down the road. Let it ride, let it take away all of this darkness. Let it ride, let it rock me in the arms of strangers, angels, until it brings me home. Let it ride, let it roll, let it go. Somewhere in the endless moonlight of the parking lot, in the headlights of cars, someplace over the moon, where they move the drive-in theater where I left the car. And I can't find, but I still got the keys. Let it ride easy down the road. Let it ride, let it take away all of this darkness. Let it ride, let it rock me in the arms of strangers, angels, until it brings me home. Let it ride, let it roll, let it go. Hey everyone, and welcome back to Swift Guitar Lessons. Today I'm breaking down a very, very long overdue lesson on Bryan Adams' tune, Let It Ride. We're going to learn the different parts and then also learn how to apply some pretty common fingerpicking patterns to the different sections. I should mention that Ryan is an excellent fingerpicking stylist. He's got a very good foundation which allows him to improvise and play the song different from performance to performance. And so this is going to be my take on it, kind of a combination of different techniques that I've seen him use in various videos. Let's get started. Okay, we have a close look at the guitar and also my right hand. We are in standard tuning, but with the capo here on the 5th fret. I'm going to get started by demonstrating the intro for you, then break it down into 4 different sections to make it easier to learn. It's going to sound like this. One more time, very slow. Okay, before we launch into it, I want to tell you which fingers are being used for which string. So each finger on the right hand must be designated to a specific string in order to really get this down. The thumb, like in most Travis style fingerpicking tunes, is designated to the E, A, and D string, while the first finger is designated to the G, my middle finger designated to the B, and preferably my third finger also designated but to the high E string. Okay, getting started with section number 1, it's going to sound like this. One more time. Nice short little section there, plucking the open A string, then the D string, 2nd fret, then the B string with the middle finger, it's getting plucked as I pull off the 1st fret. Then my first finger is going to pluck the G string, which is open. That's going to be followed by section number 2. Sounds like this. One more time. In context. All I'm doing is taking my thumb, putting it on the low A string, plucking. Then I got my pinky on the 3rd fret of the B string. It's going to slide to 5. So far we have My first finger is then going to play the 3rd fret of the high E string. And I should be plucking that with the right hand with the ring finger. One more time. Oop. Then I'm going to play the 2nd fret of the high E string and pull off to the open string. So we have open A, slide with the pinky from 3 to 5 on the B string, the high E string 3rd fret, then the 2nd fret, and pull one off. Put those 2 parts together, it sounds like this. Alright, finally we have section number 3. It's going to sound like this. Real slow. Alright, fingers are still designated to each of those specific strings. And I'm plucking the open A string, hammering on this time to the B string, 1st fret. Then the thumb is going to go down to the D string for another bass note. Alright, so we have A string, hammer on to the B string, then the D string 2nd fret. Now my ring finger is going to pluck the high E string, open. Then I put my middle finger to the B string, and then the G string. So at the end there, we're just going in order. One more time. Okay, kind of hanging up on that high E string too. A little longer. All right, finally, we have section number 3. First, let's put all 3 sections that we have so far in context. All right, finally, section number 4 is going to sound like this. And then we'll go back to the beginning and it loops back around another time. So one more time, section number 4. All that is just my 3rd finger going up to the low E string, 3rd fret, and I'm going to pluck that with the B string. Open. Then the open D string, and then the G string. Just like that. That's followed by a little riff, the 2nd fret of the A string, hammering up to the 3rd fret. Then back to the 2nd fret, and then the 3rd fret of the low E string. And the whole thing starts back over again. Section number 3. Section number 4. Let's have another go at it. Section number 1. Section number 2. Section number 3. And 4. Now you may find that Ryan plays this a million different ways. If you watch one performance to the next, he does it differently. But it's kind of because he's just pulling strings, which is kind of like a musical phrase or term that you hear people say. It just means kind of grabbing random strings within the chord and kind of throwing in some strums every now and then. So it's very expressive, but a lot of this is improvised. Okay, moving on to the verse. We're getting started with an A minor chord. Moving through the progression, moving like the fog on the Cumberland River. That's followed by a G major chord. I was leaving on the Delta Queen to a C major. Now we have the same chord progression repeating twice. F, C, G. F, C, G. Let's try that again. Ready? Moving like the fog on the Cumberland River. I was leaving on the Delta Queen, C major. Then I wasn't ready to go. Sometimes he throws in a little hammer like he did in the intro. 2nd fret, A string to the 3rd fret of the A string. And then he repeats, I'm never ready to go. Alright, now that you have the chords down, we can kind of apply a little bit of a simple finger picking pattern. Because Ryan is kind of improvising throughout different versions of this song, it's important to have a good foundation like he does in various finger picking styles. So one of the patterns that seems to work pretty well for this tune is a outside-inside pattern like this. So if you have your A minor chord fretted, just plucking the A string, B string, D string, G string. Moving like the fog on the Cumberland River. I was leaving on the Delta Queen. And then as I go through that C major chord and I'm about to transition to F major, I like to throw in a little walk down from C to a G/B chord, which is the same shape except the third finger comes off and the middle finger jumps up one string. Now we have moving like the fog on the Cumberland River. I was leaving on a Delta Queen. Nice little walk down there. When I get to the F chord, C chord, G chord change, I like to kind of just simplify it a little bit. I like to kind of just do a root and then strum with my nail a little bit. Down and up. I wasn't ready to go. Little hammer on there. I'm never ready to go. We're gonna repeat that for another verse. 27 years and nothing but failures and promises that I couldn't keep. Notice how sometimes I throw in double picks, a little harmony note before getting back into my pattern. So fool around with this. You know, we have a very strict rhythm. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3. So you would kind of, to be able to improvise with this, you have to be able to count the rhythm. And then for every single syllable that you say, 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and you can apply one note that you can just pull out of your chord. That's how you can play a very nice finger picking pattern, but not necessarily the same thing every single time. So over that A minor chord, I'm thinking 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. It can be split up into eighth notes, quarter notes, eighth notes, even 16th notes. 1 E and 2 E and that kind of thing. All right, so over the A minor chord, this is the second verse. 27 years, nothing but failures and promises that I couldn't keep. We repeat the F to C to G change. I wasn't ready to go. I'm never ready to go. Finally, we get into the chorus. All right, launching into our chorus, we have a very simple chord progression, very much like our verse. A minor chord, let it ride, let it ride. Then the F chord, easy, C chord, down the road. All right, so just A minor, F, C, G for that first part. Let it ride, easy down the road. Repeat that, let it ride, F and a C and a G. Just kind of strumming this one out. You can finger pick it. I've seen Ryan do all different kinds of stuff during these parts here. Lots of little hammer-ons and chord variations that you can study, listen to different versions, and be able to pick things out yourself. Okay, so we have A minor. Let it ride easy down the road. Let it ride. Let it take away all of this darkness. All right, then the last section of the chorus. Let it ride, A minor. Let it rock me, F to C to G, and then C before going to an F major chord. I like F major 7 actually, the high E string open. So that section would sound like this. Let it ride, let it rock me in the arms of strangers, angels. Then F major chord, you can bar the whole thing, or you can do a, like I said, F major 7. Until it brings me home. Hold it out, let it ride, let it roll, let it go. And then get right into our intro again. All right, so I'll demonstrate the whole chorus for you. Let's see if you can play along. Let it ride, easy down the road. A minor, let it ride, F and C and G. Let it ride, let it rock me in the arms of strangest angels until it brings me home. Nice little inside or outside inside pattern. Starting on the D string. Sounds fantastic during this part. Until it brings me home. Let it ride, let it roll, let it go. So on and so forth. All right, we have one last section, getting into the bridge. Okay, last section to learn, we got our bridge. I'm gonna demonstrate it one time. It's gonna sound like this. Getting started with my finger picking pattern, outside, inside over F major 7. Here we go. I wanna see you at night, dancing in the endless moonlight of your parking lot, in the headlights of cars, someplace on the moon, where they move the drive-in theater I left the car that I can't find, but I still got the keys to let it ride. And we're right into our chorus again. So I had my F major 7 chord. For those of you who don't know, my 3rd finger is on the 3rd fret of the D string. My middle finger is on the 2nd fret of the G, and my 1st finger is on the 1st fret of the B string, mixing that in with a high E string for a wonderful flavor. I'm gonna get started with an outside-inside pattern starting on the D string. Might start off with a double, and then launch into it. So that's the D string, the high E string, should be my 3rd finger actually. Then I'm gonna play the G string, and then the B string. I'm actually more comfortable though, kind of playing it like, just with these 3 fingers here. So we'll start that off with, I wanna see you tonight, dancing in the, and then right there on Endless Moonlight, I'm gonna feature a little bit of the vocal melody in the guitar work. So then I'm gonna play the middle finger and thumb, plucking the D string and B string together, then take the 1st finger off, put it back as I get into Moonlight. I'm gonna take all 3 fingers, thumb, pointer, and middle, put them together, and pluck the D string, G string, and B string, Moonlight, as my middle finger comes up on that 2nd stroke. So, that's gonna take me into the C major chord. I'm gonna throw in a Bob Dylan style Travis picking pattern. It's just the way I kind of do it. It's gonna sound like this. That was double D, G, A, B, D. A classic folk style finger picking pattern that applies to this very well. If you are not familiar with these patterns, definitely check out my video on 5 different finger picking patterns. I'll put the link down at the bottom. I'm gonna do the same thing over the G chord, but my thumb needs to come up to accommodate the new root. So we have the outside-inside pattern. I wanna see you tonight, dancing in the, feature the melody, endless moonlight in the parking lot, in the headlights of cars, the C chord to the G chord change, and then it's all gonna repeat itself again. Someplace over the moon, where they move the driving theater, where I left the car I can't find, hold on the C chord, then the G chord, but I still got the keys to let it ride, and we're into our chorus there. Okay, so this is just kind of my way of doing it. Like I mentioned before, Ryan is so good at finger picking patterns that he's got such a good base foundation that he's able to improvise as he goes through this and apply different techniques like root strums and also patterns like that outside-inside and Travis picking pattern, even alternating root notes and things like that. So he's got lots of different skills. I would suggest watching lots of different versions of this of him performing this song so you can pull out little nuances that you like. All right, let's do that bridge one more time. Start singing, here we go. I wanna see you tonight, dancing in the endless moonlight of the parking lot, in the headlights of cars, someplace over the moon, where they move the drive-in theater, where I left the car I can't find, but I still got the keys to let it ride. And we're back into our chorus. If you got that intro section, our verse, our chorus, and that bridge together, you've completed this song, you got it down. Alright everyone, thanks so much for checking out this lesson on Ryan Adams' Let It Ride. I got plenty more videos coming up, so keep checking back. Please subscribe. I'm Rob at Swift Guitar Lessons in Philadelphia, saying happy picking.